In today's lesson, let's talk about all these circles we see inside here. Call them instruments, gauges, whichever you prefer. Let's go over the ones you'll need the most for basic flying, and if you haven't seen lessons 1 and 2, check them out first, and we'll see you back here when we're airborne. Thanks for choosing Recreator's Virtual Flight School. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and as always, use real-world flight training for real-world flying. Starting on the top left with the airspeed indicator measured in knots. 1 knot is equivalent to 1.8 kilometers per hour or 1.1 miles per hour. Don't let airspeed get too low or you'll stall like we saw in our first lesson. Don't go too fast or you'll cause stress on the airframe. Each airframe has a maximum speed it can handle before it starts bending and resulting in structural failure. In other words, we don't want the airplane to fall apart because we're going too fast. Attitude indicator. Dot in the middle represents the nose, 2 lines on the side represent our wings. As we turn, the attitude indicator rotates. The lines surrounding the attitude indicator show our bank angle, and are labeled at 10 degrees, 20, 30, 60, and 90 degrees. As we pitch our nose up, the attitude indicator goes up, and once again is labeled in increments of 5, 10, 15, and 20 degrees. Altimeter displays our altitude, or height above sea level. Small hand represents which thousand we are at, large hand indicates the hundredths. For example, right now we're at 1,500 feet, and here we are at 8,000 feet. You can measure altitude as above ground level, AGL, or above sea level, ASL. This distinction is important, as sea level is at 0 feet. Ground level, especially if you're standing on top of a mountain, may be several hundred or 1,000 feet in the air. Vertical speed indicator tells you how quickly you're gaining or losing altitude. Vertical speed measures how many feet you're gaining or losing per minute. For example, we're losing 1,000 feet per minute right now, and at an altitude of 8,000 feet, it will take us 8 minutes before we reach 0 feet. Turn coordinator tells you if the rear of the plane is swinging out while you're turning. For example, if I use just the rudder pedals, I'm effectively drifting in midair. Pilots use a mix of the rudder and ailerons to turn, and as long as this black dot stays in the center while turning, then you are in what's called a coordinated turn, meaning you're not drifting. Push the rudder out, you'll kick the tail out to the side and start drifting as seen here. Heading tells you what horizontal direction you're heading in. This compass works on the basis of magnetic north, meaning it points towards the North Pole. Tachometer tells you how hard you're making the engine work. On a Cessna 172, it gives you an RPM reading, and right now we're at 1,500 RPM. Fuel level. Always good to have fuel in the tanks. Avoid flying on empty. You might find the engine decides to turn off if there's no fuel. Fuel flow. How much fuel you're burning per hour. Some aircraft display this, some don't. Radio. Adjust the frequency to communicate with air traffic control. Let's switch to Toronto approach on 133.40 on standby and switch it to the active frequency. Now we can talk to Toronto approach. Now let's review the names of each instrument in what's called a glass cockpit, which refers to a layout of instruments that makes use of large digital screens as seen here. You still have your airspeed, attitude, altimeter, heading, vertical speed, fuel flow indicators, and tachometer, just in a more integrated layout. Glass cockpits are available or standard on most aircraft, especially on large airliner jets. For the most part, analog gauges are seen more on older and smaller airplanes. That concludes the basic instruments you need to know in order to fly an airplane. Next lesson we'll go over the parts of an airport, why airports are built the way they are, and how to navigate the airplane through an airport. Thanks for watching, your support is appreciated, and if you haven't already, click the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more content like this. As always, safe travels.